Just wanted to demonstrate how to obtain the tax return forms from the IRS website. So when you're at the website, just Google irs.gov. Then you go to IRS website. You will see a column that's for forms and publications. Click that. Then you could scroll down and could see many different forms you could obtain from this website, including Form 941 for the business, W4, W2, and all the other available forms. Here's Form 940 as well. So let's just click on Form 940. And here is 2015 940 form. You could download that in PDF file. And also you could do that for 941. 941, you have one available for current year, 2016. So please download this and we will try to work one example case with you. If you have read the textbook, you would know by now that for FUTA, F-U-T-A, FUTA tax is only paid by employer only. Employees do not pay this type of tax. This is employer's tax expense. And employers pay only up to $7,000 gross pay per person. So on this homework assignment, when it says total wages paid, meaning all the gross pay to all the employees in that quarter was this amount. But none of the amount was in excess of $7,000 per person. Meaning all these amounts included in the first column, $25,863, was a sum of all the payments made to all the employees, but none of them were in excess of $7,000. So most of them must have received less than $7,000 in that quarter. So on the second quarter, total paid amount was this amount, but in that quarter, some of them received in excess of $7,000. So first quarter, employer will pay FUTA tax on all the amount that's been paid to the employees. On the second quarter, employer is responsible for the FUTA tax, all the amount that was paid except for this amount, because this is in excess of $7,000. So overall, in the whole year, employer is not responsible for this amount, gross pay, for this type of tax, FUTA tax. So in other words, in 1 year, employer paid in total this amount to employees as wages. But of this amount, $53,535 will be excluded from the calculation of FUTA tax. Let's take a look at Form 941. 941, as you could see, you just follow the instruction and fill in the information here as an employer. I know that most of our company hire CPA office or another external companies to prepare this type of return. But if you ever have to prepare one manually, it's not very hard. You simply follow the instruction. So all these instructions, although they look complicated, but they are there to guide us. So it's actually a good thing. There are all these little step-by-step instruction given to us. So line 1 will be zero amount. It's not applicable to our homework assignment. And line 2 will get the total gross amount that was paid to employees. And then we enter information that we have, for example, all the total income tax withheld from employees that will go in line 3. And line 5A, and let's see, Social Security wages. Since our homework instruction shows that entire amount that was paid was applicable for Social Security wages, we'll put entire amount there. And as well as for the Medicare, because the Medicare doesn't have limitation. We pay Medicare tax on all wages. As to Social Security tax is limited to certain amount. That amount is changing every year. As mentioned before, all this adjustment will not be applicable to us. And in real life, in many cases, this adjustment will not be applicable either. Then you will have total tax calculated on line 10, and we will assume that we have already made all the tax deposits before we are filing this tax return. So line 11 will be same as line 10. And at the end, we don't have anything due because we already made the tax deposit on time. Note on page 2, the tax liability that was already deposited will be broken down by month. Each month's tax liability will be broken down here, and at the end, total quarter amount due will be shown here. This amount will be equal to total tax amount calculated on line 10 and total deposit we already made on line 11. This is Form 940. Right now, we only have one available for year 2015, so we will use this form. Same as 941, we will fill in the blanks. And when you look at line 3, this is where we put in all the amounts that were paid to our employees in this year, regardless whether they were applicable to FUTA tax or not. Now, once after that, we go to line 5. We'll skip line 4 because it's not applicable to our case. On line 5, that's where you put all the amount that was in excess of $7,000 that was paid to each employee. So this is where this is the amount that will be excluded from the calculation of FUTA tax. Then line 7 will show the amount that will be applicable to FUTA tax calculation. So line 8 will show us the total tax due. And we're going to assume this time that we did not make any tax deposit. So assume that line 13 will be 0. So no tax was deposited for this time. And the total amount due on line 14 will be same as the total tax that was calculated. And of course, we are not going to assume that we have any of these adjustments, so there will be no adjustments. Again, if you go to page 2, we will break down all the tax due amount quarterly, and then total due amount shown at the end of the column should be equal to the total tax due that was shown on page 1.